The 6 o'clock news starts right now.
Willie or won't he? The filing deadline for San Antonio City Council races is fast approaching.
And it is still unclear whether embattled District 10 City Councilman Clayton Perry will run for a fourth and final term. The Northside councilman faces charges in an alleged drunk driving hit and run crash. Police said Perry drank for hours and then hit a car head on and took off.
City Hall reporter Garrett Berger looks at how that controversy is shaping the D10 race.
Councilman Clayton Perry walked away from us again this morning, but we still don't know if he'll walk away from City Council.
Just want to check, we got 1 week till filing. Have you decided whether you're going to run for re-election?
No, I haven't decided.
Do you know when you'll have a decision, sir?
I'm working on it.
And it's not just Perry who's up in the air. As of this morning, only one candidate had filed for the District 10 race. Retired engineer and Perry appointee to the Building Standards Board, Joel Solis.
Chair, a quorum is present.
And it took nearly 3 weeks before he did.
I was waiting really to see what Perry was going to do. I really didn't want to be running against him, but I thought that time was not on my side anymore.
Meanwhile, several former D10 council members confirmed they've advised Perry not to run, including his predecessor and recent fill-in, Mike Gallagher.
With the current judicial process in place, it could really distract him from his ability to conduct the regular things that a council person has to do.
Instead, Gallagher wants business attorney Mark White to take the reins.
We've got staff approval, SAW's approval.
White, who is also a Perry appointee to the Zoning Commission, hasn't committed yet.
I think that current circumstances lend themselves to me considering it at this time.
Joe Garcia and Pauline Rubio, who made the shortlist to be Perry's temporary replacement, could also end up on the ballot.
We won't have long to wait to see who is going to run for sure. The deadline to file is next Friday, February 17th. At City Hall, I'm Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
We now know the name of the person who died after crashing their car into the Guadalupe River today. That victim has been identified as 29-year-old Noel Hernandez of Overton, Texas. Seguin police say Hernandez hit a guardrail and then went down an embankment. That crash happened about 2 o'clock this morning near the public boat ramp off of I-10. But that vehicle wasn't pulled out of the water until around noon today. A witness claims that Hernandez was speeding, but there's no official word on what exactly caused this crash.
A traffic stop on the city's north side leads to a drug bust worth more than $150,000. Now, according to the Bexar County Sheriff's Office, 45-year-old William Carachure was arrested after cocaine was found in the vehicle. Deputies say 5 kilograms of cocaine were found inside. They estimate the street value to be around $200,000. Carachure is being charged with possession and intent to deliver a controlled substance. His bond set at $100,000.
Crime Stoppers is asking for help finding a man who stole from the Macy's at Ingram Park Mall and then hit a person on the way out. SAPD says this man went to that store, took several items, and then walked right past the registers without paying. He was confronted by someone on his way out, but officers say the suspect hit that person in the face. This happened January 12th. If you have any information on who this person is or where they are, call Crime Stoppers at 210-224-STOP.
In San Antonio, they're asking for winter weather gear. Rescue teams in Turkey are still searching through the rubble looking for survivors after 2 powerful earthquakes destroyed thousands of buildings along the Turkey-Syria border. The cold weather impacting search efforts, and that's why the American Turkish Association of San Antonio is collecting winter gear right now at La Madeleine off of 281. That's where we find our Camelia Juarez. Camelia, what kind of donations are they asking for and what has been collected so far?
Steve, just take a look behind me. I mean, this is how many donations are being given out. It's an 18-wheeler that is soon to be full of coats, jackets, hygiene gear, and a lot of these items are new. Now, the weather is freezing in Turkey, which makes it tough for search teams and survivors. So we've seen bags of beanies and gloves. All the items collected here at La Madeleine will be sent to the Turkish General Consulate in Houston, who will then send it to those in need. Malik Yanis with the American Turkish Association of San Antonio says they're so grateful for the support so far.
Wonderful to get this much support this is kind of at the same time, it's a little bit beginning, so we will ask for them to support us more, like monetary donations, especially needed.
Now, monetary donations can be sent through the American Turkish Association. We do have a link to that on our website. Also, the Raindrop Foundation is having a prayer service tonight at 6:30 at 4337 Vance Jackson. There, they will also be accepting donations like we see behind us. Reporting live from the north side, Camelia Juarez, KSAT 12 News.
All right, ready to rodeo San Antonio tonight, the first night of Cowboys the Carnival in 8-second rides.
Ursula Perry and David Sears are holding the reins for us tonight. They join us live from the rodeo ground.
And I see Mia Montgomery out there as well.
There she is.
That's right. This is your rodeo crew, guys. We're live. It's opening night. We're very excited because this is going to be like a rodeo palooza tonight. We've got so much to show you, including a live rodeo on KSAT 12. And then Mia has got a story that has never happened before.
Yeah, we've been working really hard on these stories for the special that happens after the actual rodeo here tonight on KSAT 12. And a change this year, we're going to see more local names on the lineups here at the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo. And that's because those officials held a qualifier event in Uvalde back in January, allowing folks that may not have had an opportunity to qualify for an event this big. So it's going to be pretty cool.
It really is. And we've got a lot of behind the scenes kind of stories. One of them, just how many people are running the show behind the scenes, all those volunteers. And some of them, actually a lot of them, this year, all those committees are being headed up by women. And so we're going to take you a little bit behind the scenes to show you the women behind the rodeo.
And also coming up after the rodeo, there are so many experts here that are involved in the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo. Fort Sam Houston National Cemetery Caisson Platoon had to turn to some of those experts when they lost their grass back in the freeze of 2021 and the drought that's been taking place over the last 3 years. And those experts working with that platoon have helped them develop a way to grow that grass, to take care of those horses. So when you see that caisson, there's nothing but the best drawn, the casket drawn by those horses, because they have been taken care of by the Army North and by the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo. We'll have that story for you coming up. It's going to touch your heart when you see it.
Well, the entire show after the rodeo is going to touch your heart because we have been working for months now trying to put this together for you. But the real deal is about to start at 7 o'clock. We're going to take you right into a live rodeo. I know you're excited.
I'm so excited. I know we all are excited. We've been looking forward to this for weeks.
There's some bucking horses right behind the gate right here. They're excited because they were like jumping up and down a while ago. They're a little calm now, but they're getting ready. We're moments away.
They are a little feisty, which is what you want. You can hear the hooping and hollering. They're trying to move the livestock into place. And again, this is all starting live here on KSAT 12 at 7 o'clock.
Ursula, David, and Mia, we will see you at 7. I love this time of year, rodeo season. And it's about to feel a lot more like the rodeo.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm loving this weather and the rodeo.
Yeah, but this is not the rodeo weather.
No.
Needs to get colder?
Yep.
Is that what you want?
Yep.
It's going to. Yes, it will. We actually have 3 cold fronts in the forecast, the first of which hits us tonight. So it was a mild day today, 71 degrees the high temperature, a good 20 degrees under the record of 91. Just gives you an idea of the potential this time of year. There's a cold front off to the northwest. It just hit Junction and Rock Springs. But you look at Lubbock, Amarillo in the 30s, Abilene 51, Midland 54, 71 in Pleasanton, Cotulla 76 degrees. We're mild around town. Burney's at 64, 70 still in Seguin and Comfort. Now this evening, clear sky, temperatures falling down to the mid 50s by 10 o'clock. Then the cold front hits closer to midnight. The wind is going to pick up and you'll notice that gusty wind pretty much all day tomorrow. We'll get into the windy details in a moment. First, morning temperatures, some 30s in outlying areas, 37 Burney, 39 Hondo, but 42 around San Antonio. We'll talk more about the other cold fronts and our next chance of rain in just a bit.
All right, thank you, Adam. Let's go live with TransGuide right now on this Thursday. I want to take you to I-10 in De Zavala. You're looking at the exit for Fredericksburg Road, and you see it looks like they have it blocked off right now. They're not letting anybody get on the exit ramp there, and you see a number of what look like police vehicles that are off up to the right side there as well. As you go further up the access road, we're not exactly sure what's happening, if this is construction or if it's some sort of law enforcement operation. We're going to continue to monitor the situation. That's what it looks like to me. It does not look like road construction.
It even looks like there are some first responders. I don't know if that's just a reflection or if we've got more there in the parking lot.
Yeah, I think it's in the parking lot as well.
So something we're going to have to check out and try to get you more information on. A nearly 4-year fight for one local county judge ends in victory. In 2019, Judge Rosie Speedlin Gonzalez was ordered to remove an LGBTQ pride flag from her courtroom, but she fought back. Erica Hernandez sat down with the judge to talk about what this win means.
It's been a great journey, despite what I've had to face.
Bexar County Court 13 Judge Rosie Speedlin Gonzalez has been awaiting to return her rainbow flag to her courtroom. In 2019, a local defense attorney filed a complaint to the State Commission of Judicial Conduct that the rainbow flag shouldn't be allowed. The commission ruled the flag, along with other items like a rainbow mouse pad, to be removed. The judge appealed.
We went before 3 appellate justices in front of the Texas Supreme Court back in June. We finally got their opinion last week, and they vacated any sanctions against me and dismissed the grievance that was originally filed.
It was a meaningful victory not only for her, but the entire LGBTQ community.
It's an important victory. The fact that she was not guilty on all counts means that we're in a new environment here in Texas.
Despite winning the appeal, Judge Gonzalez says that the flag will actually not remain in her courtroom.
You can't stop people from filing their grievances. So we have come to the decision that the very same flag that was in the courtroom has been sitting and will remain posted right outside my chambers in my office.
What is most important, she says, going forward is providing equal justice for all. Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
New life for an East Side music venue with decades of history. We're going to tell you all about the ESPY at St. Paul Square and the big event planned for its grand reopening. Chemicals, contamination concerns, and coolant for a car. That's not all the health inspector found. The violations reported at several San Antonio restaurants. When we go behind the kitchen door tonight on the Night Beat at 10.
New at 6, there is new life for a historic San Antonio music venue. The old Sunset Station outdoor venue at St. Paul Square, it's reopening under new management.
RJ Marquez takes us to the ESPY to tell us what this means for business and entertainment on the East Side.
An iconic site on the city's east side is getting a makeover.
Can't wait to open our doors and reintroduce the community to this gem of a venue.
The ESPY Music Venue is set to open next month with a music festival called All Aboard, bringing together music groups from multiple genres.
Wanted to showcase a diverse lineup, intentionally to showcase the types of entertainment that you will see at the ESPY in the future. This is just the beginning.
The Ambassador Theater Group, which operates the Majestic and Empire Theaters, will run the site. They've already added everything from new lighting to sound and landscaping.
ATG took over this venue last year and immediately began improving the site in preparation for this year's outdoor concert season. And get this, the capacity here is pretty good, just over 3,100.
This is a historic location. To see activity come back to it is awesome. So we're just glad to be a part of it.
Russell Aday with the nonprofit San Antonio for Growth on the East Side, or SAGE, says the ESPY will give area businesses more exposure and opportunities.
Those small businesses that's already here, we want them to be able to feel some of that energy and growth.
And a portion of ticket sales from the All Aboard Festival will go directly back to the community.
Those funds will support small businesses. We have our back office program, our storefront grant program, and other opportunities.
And we look forward to continuing to partner with them as we continue to operate in this space to find ways to connect with the community.
RJ Marquez, KSAT 12 News.
Look outside with Sky 12. It's starting to light up. The carnival at the rodeo tonight is the first big night.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we said, beautiful weather to start off the rodeo.
Beautiful weather, and you know what? This is the best February 9th in a long time.
Okay.
Everybody.
You know why?
All right, we got a lot going on today between the rodeo, Adam Caskey's birthday, and this hair. There was a story behind this hair.
And there's also some type of, synchronicity going on.
Yeah, I know. It's all coming together.
Thermometer Thursday.
That's right. And we got Fiesta hair.
So Caskey has been asking for literal years that I wear my hair curly for federal holidays and birthdays.
And Fiesta, of course, but that's a given.
Last year, I said, all right, next birthday, I'm doing it. So happy birthday, Caskey.
Thank you. It's awesome. I love the
welcome.
Fiesta hair.
Thank you.
If only I had some cascarones for it, because it just holds that confetti so nicely.
No, I do that once a year.
Yeah.
And then I find it for the rest of the year.
We'll work our way up to twice. All right, take a look at our morning low temperature trend. 42 tomorrow, but by Saturday morning, a light freeze. Hello, rodeo season. 32 degrees in the morning Saturday, but warming up nicely in the afternoon. Keep that in mind. And even Sunday will be at 35, so running below average for several mornings to come. Let's talk about tomorrow. Then we're going to get into our rainfall pattern in the extended forecast and even the newest drought monitor. But 53 by noon tomorrow, 57 for the high temperature. That's 10 degrees below average for this time of year. You get to Port SA, west side of town, 59 the high, Converse 57, Divine, Poteet about 61, Comfort about 55 along with Bernie. And you look at our high temperature trend, we'll make it to near 60 on Saturday and then mid 60s Sunday and Monday before getting back into the 70s toward the middle part of next week. So some temperature fluctuations you need to prepare for. It's way too soon to be putting away the jacket. Winter's not over yet. Several cold fronts lining up, getting ready to move into town. The first of which hits us tonight. The wind, not bad right now, calm to about 5 miles per hour. That changes right after midnight. Here's our futurecast. The cold front hits at midnight. That's when the wind starts to ramp up in and around San Antonio. Wind gusts shortly after midnight up to about 35 miles per hour. So you'll notice that gusty wind. It may even wake you up, rattle some tree limbs outside, maybe cause your windows to rattle a little bit. And if it's your trash or recycling pickup day, that lid might be popping around. And after it gets picked up tomorrow, that empty bin could tip over because those wind gusts of 35 miles per hour. And the wind isn't really going to subside until after sunset tomorrow. Notice 10 o'clock wind gusts down to 10 miles per hour. All right, so that's the wind. I want to show you our latest drought monitor. Unfortunately, no improvement around our area, but keep in mind, this does not take into account our recent rain event where some neighborhoods had around an inch of rain, radar estimated. Officially at the airport, we had 0.54. You look across our area, south and central Texas. Of course, this is the bullseye around Bexar County, especially Kendall, Comal, Bandera, Medina, Kerr counties. That's the bullseye. You go east Houston, Bryan, Lufkin, Tyler, not even abnormally dry. 53% of Texas is in drought. And really the worst of it is right here in our backyard, unfortunately. But we do have another shot at rain coming our way. This moisture behind the cold front, that's not going to make it here. We'll just have some leftover clouds, but this is a little bit of snow from New Mexico into the panhandle of Texas there. Upper level disturbance, swinging that through. Little blue H, not a big blue H. A little bump in the upper level flow. That's going to give us some sunshine the next couple of days. Our next disturbance is off the coast of the Pacific Northwest. That's going to give us our next chance of showers and thunderstorms by Monday night. That's when that comes. So we have to wait a little bit. A lot of sunshine the next several days. Monday night into early Tuesday. 40% chance. We'll have some scattered activity developing, but that's it for 3 cold fronts. That's the only chance of rain.
All right. And the hearts on the calendar, don't forget that.
I had to be reminded.
Thanks, Adam.
All right, I know growing up, Larry Ramirez was a fan of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I can only imagine what a thrill it was for him today to get to meet Steeler great Hines Ward and welcome him to San Antonio. Larry.
Absolutely, and I even warned him that I might fanboy out on him for a second because of my love for the Pittsburgh Steelers and Hines Ward. So yes, he is here in town, a meet and greet. He is the head coach of the San Antonio Brahmas of the XFL. Coming up, we're going to hear from some of his players about meeting the fans tonight. And in the NBA, Jay Rich, he's going to miss San Antonio. Coming up.
we thought it was important. This is our day off to come down here to have a connection with our fan base in the city of San Antonio. And I want our players to understand they're not just playing for themselves, but they're playing for our fan base down here.
Hines Ward and the Brahmas are happy to mingle with their fans today in Big Board Sports. Good evening, everybody, and welcome live to the Alamo Brewing Company, where the San Antonio Brahmas are holding a meet and greet right now until 7 p.m. Coach Ward and some of his players are here, and they are definitely having a very good time. So Coach and his players got here to Alamo Brewing around 2 this afternoon, flying in from Fort Worth. Quarterback Jack Cohn, running back Jacquez Patrick, linebacker Ben Davis, and cornerback Ryan Lewis are thrilled to be in town to meet their fans.
Man, it's just great for us to come out here and just come and see the fans and, you know, just thank them, you know, for all the support that we were getting and what we're going to get, you know, throughout the season. And can't wait to see everybody on game days.
I've been hearing a lot from Coach Ward about the excitement level of just having a football team in San Antonio, and I'm just excited to see what the fans are all about and just meet them.
I'm just ready to get a chance to meet the fans, you know, that have been supporting us, you know, buying tickets and, you know, buying season tickets, you know. This is our first chance to get to embrace some of the fans face-to-face before the first game. So I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that. I've heard great things about the fans of San Antonio. You know, I know they love football. They deserved a professional football team for the longest time. So I can't wait to get out there, you know, give them a show, meet them all, and see what we look forward to.
The Brahmas will kick off the season with St. Louis on Sunday the 19th, 2 p.m. at the Alamo Dome. Center Jakob Poeltl is back where his NBA career started with the Toronto Raptors. That's right, he is back north of the border. After 4.5 seasons with the San Antonio Spurs, he was traded back to the Raptors last night. In return, the Spurs are getting center Kim Birch, a top 6 protected 2024 first-round draft pick, and 2 future second-round picks. Poeltl's defensive stats, well, they're down a bit this season, but he's still a great rim protector. Multiple teams attempted to trade for the center, including the Boston Celtics, who reportedly offered the Spurs Peyton Pritchard, Danilo Gallinari, and multiple future second picks, but the Spurs said no. And then this afternoon, the Spurs traded veteran shooting guard Josh Richardson to the Pelicans for point guard Devontae Graham and 4 second-round draft picks. That's a lot. That's per multiple reports. Jay Rich tweeted, "Very special city and fan base. Always would be special to me!" Exclamation points. Now the Spurs lost to the Raptors last night, 112-98. The game saw 3 ties and 7 lead changes. The Spurs' largest lead was 5, while the Raptors led by as many as 18. Now the Spurs cut down on their turnovers a little bit compared to the game before in Chicago, but still 16, resulting in 22 points for Toronto, is just still too much.
When we turn it over against Toronto, it's like a bucket at the other end with their speed and their athleticism. So they got too many points off our turnovers, but that's how they play. You know, it's one of their strengths. So we did a pretty good job in a lot of ways. The young kids showed more physicality, a little bit better decision making, but overall, I was pleased with their performance.
Spurs will look to snap their 10-game losing streak tomorrow night at the Pistons. That is a very winnable game. Meet the Brahmas ends at 7 tonight, so you still got a little time to get down here. Back to you in the studio.
All right, Alamo Beer Company.
Yeah,
Beers and Brahmas.
More time for Larry to fanboy.
Yeah, there you go. We'll be right back. How about that State of the Union the other night?
Ooh.
Is that an unusual event, or will they be like that going forward with the back and forth between the president and some people that were jeering him among the Congress people that were there? John Taylor is a professor at UTSA. He's the chair of the political science and geography department. John, we always love having you on. Have you ever seen a State of the Union like you saw on Tuesday night?
The answer is no, at least not in my lifetime or y'all's lifetime or probably anybody else's lifetime. I can't recall this kind of State of the Union, that kind of raucous, back and forth kind of stuff, even before the U.S. Civil War, for goodness sakes. It reminded me much more of the British House of Commons every week with question time for the Prime Minister.
And, I was looking at all the tweets of everyone weighing in, and I saw some pundit, of course, talking about this is how presidents they're going to have to prepare for this going forward. Do you feel like that could be the tone just based on some of the past State of the Unions, not just the one we saw this week, but just sort of the escalation of a reaction from representatives?
Unfortunately, I think the answer is probably yes. I mean, we go back to the early part of the 2010s. President Obama, you had a U.S. House member from South Carolina who was yelling, "You lie." You had Democrats in 2020 walk out of Trump's State of the Union. In fact, Nancy Pelosi famously tore up his State of the Union address, and right behind his back. Presidents, I think, are going to need to be ready for this and be prepared for a much more confrontational back and forth with the opposition party in a State of the Union address.
It seemed like Joe Biden was ready for it. I mean, it seemed like the president was ready and maybe even, dare I say, energized by the back and forth between, Marjorie Taylor Greene and some of the others that were yelling at some of the statements that he made.
I think he absolutely was energized. It was actually fun to watch because you could tell he relished the fight in this regard, because I think he knew that he could, set himself apart from the Republicans in the House especially, and he could actually politically demonstrate that, look, Republicans are doing their thing. Here's what I'm suggesting. Here's the true contrast between the two sides. Who are you going to support?
Was it exciting, interesting to watch? Yes, sure, of course. I think a lot of people did that with eyes very wide open. But what does this do for any chance of partisanship going forward? Any work to actually be done? And I know that that's not a question that we can necessarily answer here, but I think that that's something I've thought about the days since. What's the impact of that tone in this new Congress?
Well, it's funny because if you watch Biden's speech and what he talked about, he actually tried to be bipartisan. He talked about bipartisanship in getting the Infrastructure Act passed and basically the financial acts passed. He talked about how they could work together on gun issues, on other issues of legislation that are important to the American people. That said, we're in a highly partisan era, particularly in the House. And so it would be nice to think that we could have an era of bipartisanship, or at least attempts at some sort of cooperation or compromise. If we're going to see it, eventually I think it's going to have to happen with the debt, the federal debt limit. And that one is going to be one that where the president and the speaker in particular are going to have to come to some sort of agreement at some point.
Yeah, that's right. And that's happening now as we speak, the negotiations anyway. Is it unusual for a president to kind of go on the road after the State of the Union like Joe Biden did?
Nah, it's pretty normal. Obama did it. Bush did it. Trump did it some, but not as much. And this is, again, Joe Biden essentially laying out what is his 2024 campaign. This is the precursor to it.
What do you think that the State of the Union did for that, for his setting the tone? Not just, we're talking a lot about the tone of the speech itself and, of the floor there on the House, but the tone for the kickoff of what's going to be his reelection campaign.
It's interesting because the way he talked in the speech, he was very much of a populist, talking about billionaires, talking about going after wealthy fat cat corporations. That sounds very much like red meat Democratic issues that will energize primary voters who might be a little hesitant about the president's age and running for re-election.
It was interesting because I keyed into that too, John, and I was almost wondering if he's playing a little Harry Truman here, if he's instead of what they call give him hell Harry, if we're going to give him hell Joe. I mean, is that what we're seeing in basically what we saw the other night, in the State of the Union, and what he has certainly carried over, naming some Republicans by name that he thought wanted to cut Social Security and Medicaid and things like that.
I think you're quite right. I mean, particularly he's pointed out and called out by name Rick Scott, the senator from Florida, who said, no, I'm not going to cut. I'm not for cutting Social Security and Medicare, even though it's in his 60-page plan that says we want to cut Social Security and Medicare. So again, it's one of these things of contrasting Republicans and Democrats, contrasting Biden versus whomever will be the Republican nominee.
John, we got to wrap it up here soon, but I want to ask you about your takeaways from the Republican response. After hearing that, what did you walk away with?
It was fascinating because it was a mix of course, as is always the case for the party out of power. It's everything's bad because the other party's in power in the White House. But it was also interesting because there was a lot of social conservatism kind of themes that Sarah Huckabee played. And she talked about inflation. She talked about various other issues that are pocketbook issues. But I don't think she addressed that nearly enough. She kept concentrating on wokeness and on those kind of issues that energize a Republican base.
Yeah, Jeslo talked about new style Republicans. I probably got that quote wrong, but she was talking about young Republicans that are out there and trying to, it seemed like she was trying to carry the mantle of, I'm a young Republican, leading young Republicans. We're doing things at the governor's level, those kind of things. So it was interesting to listen to.
It was. I agree.
John Taylor, UTSA, always appreciate your time, sir.
Always a pleasure.
We'll see you next time, and we'll be right back.